Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed. My name is John. This is the world sipping den, world famous sipping den. And I, on this channel, do everything that has anything to do with alcohol and coffee, and I mean everything. And for you, I have broken everything down to playlists. You go in the playlist section, you look at the titles, you never leave. Why would you? Well, the answer is you wouldn't, and you won't. You'll be just live forever in there happy as hell. Now, also the first comment I do, I pin because it has a link to the playlist that pertains to what I'm reviewing. In this case, Pinot Noir. A very tough wine to make, a very delicate grape. This one takes some skills. Willamette Valley in Oregon is the basically puts out some of the best Pinot Noir in the United States and conversely, probably the world. Not the best, but it ranks up there with the finest. This is Kristof Farms, and I've been doing a lot of stuff from Kristof Farms. They make several wines. We'll get into this in a second. They make a Chardonnay, it was out of this world. A Pinot Noir Rosé, that was good. And now this Pinot Noir first vintage, 2022. They picked these grapes from their finest 5 acres of Pinot Noir that they grow. It's 13.5% alcohol by volume. If you look at the label, 2022 estate grown Pinot Noir. What does that mean? Well, a lot of you know, estate grown means that the wines were either grown on the property they own and where they were turned into wine, where they're fermented and made into wine, or they grow on a property that's under their control, that they're in charge of. They grow the grapes and tend the grapes, so on and so forth. It has AVA, which is American Viticultural Area, and that is Yamhill Carlton. That is an AVA is a designation within an area. It just shrinks down the area, and not everyone could get it. It has to have special I'm looking for the word, characteristics that make grapes mature into a very good quality. Whether it's altitude or a certain amount of rain or lack of rain, whatever it is, fertile soil always contributes to that. So that's not everybody gets an AVA, and obviously they have one. Now, another thing about them, I just love this place. They started out growing cider. Well, they didn't start out growing cider. They grow cider apples, and they make some fantastic cider. And I've done 3 reviews on their ciders. Their ciders are quality cider. So I'm a big fan of this winery. I got turned on to it by a buddy of mine, Tom. I've known this guy since high school. We've stayed in touch. I call him up tomorrow. I'll talk to him for a while. Or if I was to see him, it'd be like we left off that. You have friends like that, I hope. And it's just a beautiful thing. So, Tom, thank you for turning me on to this winery. A little bit about the winery and the family. These estate grapes came from hand-tended vines on the Kristof family farm, which we say absolutely objectively is the most beautiful farm in the world. It has been home to 3 generations of Kristofs over the last half century, so that's pretty cool. Our saga began here with the family patriarch, a European war refugee who was sponsored by Oregon families and arrived penniless and unable to speak English in 1952. So World War II ended in 1945. They were in Eastern Europe. They were under control of the Nazis, and then became under control of the communists. They couldn't catch a break. They managed to get out in 52 and look, and did the American dream. It's a beautiful story. He fell in love with the Willamette Valley and ended up on a farm in the hills outside Yama. The vineyard is overseen by bears, eagles, a stern guard dog, and loving owners. So, cool. Let's get into it. Now, Pinot Noir, if it's French, it's red Burgundy. It's either going to be really good or not so good. It's very hard to make a good Pinot Noir. It really is hard to make a good Pinot Noir. A lot of times it's got nice I get a lot of strawberry, sometimes melon out of a Pinot Noir. So let's see. Some of the most expensive Bordeaux in the world are Pinot Noir. Well, that's Merlot heavy. But Pinot Noir and Merlot kind of remind me. Because when you have like a Sangiovese, which is Chianti, or a Cabernet, a lot of times they have to be blended with Merlot. Because Merlot is a little softer. It's not quite as tannic and bold and big. And Pinot Noir kind of reminds me in that ballpark. So let's get into it. Here it is. I've poured a little bit, been sipping on it. See the color? It's always a little lighter. It's not that dark purple, almost black that you get, say, with a Zinfandel or even a Cabernet, even a Cabernet. Ooh. So the smell coming out of this right away is floral. It's got a beautiful touch of, to me, violet and a hint of lavender. Oh, and then that beautiful fruit, man. And everybody's going to describe the fruit differently. On this one, I am getting strawberry, but I'm getting some cherry. A little blackberry. It's very nice. It's very. I love the fruit smell that comes out of this, out of a good wine. Now, what we're going to look for now is you can age these a while, okay, usually. So we'll see how much tannin's in there. That's part of the process of aging. It's a antioxidant for us. It also preserves. It's a preservative, natural. Comes from the stems and the grapes and of the wine. And that's softened with age, but it helps it age. Now, if you want to soften it to drink it, two things. One, if you have this with anything with fat in it, any type of meat or cheese, that'll coat your tongue and almost take away all the tannins. You want a little bit because it gives structure to it, but you don't want it overbearing. Though Pinot Noir doesn't usually have overbearing tannin. The other thing, of course, age will soften it, but you can decant it, see. Decant it, or at the very least, pour it rough. See how I'm doing? Getting those bubbles in there. And let it sit in the glass like that. 15 minutes, half an hour. That'll, right, speed up the aging process, if you will. So, I've had this sitting out a little bit. Not just uncorked in the bottle, because that little bit of air and it's getting here on the surface area isn't enough, even down here. You either have to can it rough and leave it sit for a while, or put it in a glass and leave it sit. So let's see the taste. We did the smell. Been sipping a little, but I'm going to do the acclimation sip anyway, just to remind you that no matter what you're drinking, especially if you're going to really get into it and judge it and think about it, always take one or two acclimation sips, swish it around your mouth for a little bit, let it coat your tongue and everything like that. And then after you swallow it, maybe take one more, and that should get you acclimated. Everything. I do it on every whiskey, everything. All right. So now what I'm doing, I'm seeing how it's balanced. And balance is how the tannin, the acidity, and the fruit, if they're all imbalanced. Right? If one's overpowering, if it's all tannin or it's all acid or it's all fruit, then it's out of balance. You want all three. In this case, it's very well balanced. You definitely want some acidity, and some people like a little more than others in tannin. You know, everybody's a little different. But that gives you that juicy feel, cuts through a lot of stuff. That acid cuts through different foods and fats. And just some mouth-watering. That's why they add it to soft drinks. That's why lemonade's so good, right? And it's so thirst-quenching because of the acidity in there. Very important. And then you got the tannin on the back. But this is a softer tannin. I'm going to tell you something, man. And I hate using terms like this because it's almost silky, the feel of it. Like silk sheets would be. It's like silky on it. It's kind of, I like it. Now for the flavor. Getting a lot of, actually I'm getting a lot of cherry on this one. Nice dark cherry. A little bit of strawberry, a little bit of, it's a dark fruit type thing. Blackberries, you might get blueberries, raspberries, a little different. But if you're all sitting around drinking it, we're all going to be throwing these terms out. Plum, I'm pretty sure that those will all come out. They're all right. They're all in the fruit family. It smells beautiful. That flowers with that fruit, it's just unbelievable. It's a change as it gets older. This really can age for a while. It's 222 as the vintage. It's 224 now. 227, 230. Can be drunk now. Fruits will get darker as it ages. There's not a whole lot of woodsiness on this one. It's more of the tannin and the acidity and the fruit blended, but it's some dark fruits and some lighter red and black fruits. Nice floral, a touch of woodsiness, meaning leaves, rich soil type thing, but it's very faint, and it just kind of adds to the complexity of it. So they've done a good job. This bottle is $60. Pinot Noirs are the first vintage too. That's cool. Tend to be pricey, especially if they're good. You know, it takes a lot to do. If you got some time, Google Pinot Noir, and you'll see how difficult they are to grow and to make a quality wine out of. So they've done it. Now, I know that if you join their wine club, you will get a discount, and if you buy a case, you will get a discount. So check out their website, read about the family history, about the farm, about how they started out growing cherries for pies, went into the apples. If you like cider, check out my reviews. You might be interested in getting some cider from them. They do a quality cider, they really do. And they're really busting in pretty good on these wines. So, Kristof Farms, yeah. Willamette Valley. Very good. Thank you, Tom, and I will see you all on the next one.